It a good thing. It a good thing. I swear. See what I need to survive. I'll be all right. All right. What's going on? What's going on? All right. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing? All right. Yeah. Gonna wait till at least get one, two more people inside the live. So before we actually start getting into it, but welcome again. Welcome for those for whoever's watching right now. Again, welcome. So again, we're gonna wait for someone else to come into the rooms. We just getting started. It's we gonna get into this one. This should be something cool for a good discussion. You know, yeah. hmm Just gonna wait a little bit. I ain't gonna wait too much longer though. We're gonna get into this and we're gonna talk about this ASAP. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you can, please introduce yourselves in the chat so I know exactly who I'm talking to, so I get to know you, you know, and we can get this ball rolling with this live. And we're going to discuss a few topics that I feel is going to actually be pretty good for you guys to give y'all some updates and everything. And again, just from what y'all know so far from those who've watched any of the videos on this YouTube channel with any of these characters, the backstories of the Night Reaper characters, you know, I think would be, this is very beneficial and everything and good again for those who actually are into it and you enjoying yourselves and liking, the information that's been brought to you already. You know, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, man. I just woke up not so long ago. I had a long night. I had a long night. So yeah, I just woke up and everything. But we're definitely going to get into this. I didn't want to miss want y'all to miss anything. I wasn't even 100% sure if I was going to go live today, but I'm here. We're going to talk about some things, man. And honestly, I'm excited about it, and I pray that you guys are too. But for those who are watching right now, for if you see the title of the live, it says what makes a hero or villain unforgettable. Okay. Um, and we have to, and I want to be able to get or talk about that as for the characters in Phenom, particularly Night Reaper, origins for the books. What and again, what makes these characters stand out, that will people can relate to, that will, be an etch on your mind to be like, oh man, such and such is this, such and such is that. This character did this character did that. You know, it's it's cool. But what I do want to do is I want to give you guys a a rundown on, again, on a few of the characters if you haven't seen the backstories, but I'm going to give you a rundown anyway, so you all can actually still be intrigued as for by, what's going on with these characters. Um, but I would like to get into the heroes first, or talk about the rundown for those. And we're going to start off with Night Reaper himself, Michael Brooks. Um, as for what makes him a character, as for a hero, that would be unforgettable. You know, um, one thing about Michael Brooks is he is a compassionate individual. He's well spoken, straightforward. As Michael Brooks, he's a caring guy. Obviously, again, he loves his family. He jumps to save his family if he can. For those he care about, those he love, he's intense. He's a soldier. Also, too, he's a Madal Sadida. And again, for those who do not know what Madal Sadida is Black Claw, from an ancient African order that he was trained in, um, that allowed him to, get the skill set that he does have, what makes him strong, that makes him move, in ways of, in jitsu, and stuff that is that you'll look at a lot of characters be like, ah man, this dude is a lethal. Like he moves like Batman. He does, like he's basically like Batman, man. And he moves very quickly, especially since he's a big guy as well. But you're trained to the top capacities, peak capacities of human. Whatever the peak is for a human, for agility, speed, or anything like that. Obviously, Michael Brooks has that. Yeah, for him being Night Reaper. Um, as for him being Night Reaper, he's lethal. Period. Um, what makes him unforgettable is the fact that he's going to leave a mark on you, regardless. He's going to leave a mark on you. If you're still alive, that is. You know what I mean? Just keeping that honest with you guys. Night Reaper is an intense character. He, again, is about protecting his city, um, being tired of the bull crap that's going on, and the torment of the city's citizens, and again, obviously haunted by the deaths of his family, his mother, and his situation with his lady, his wife, and what she went through. It's a big deal, and I feel that that'll make and put any type of mark on the heart and soul of any individual when you go through what you go through. Okay, so he's a character that is very complex. Again, lethal. He's intelligent. In educated in mixed martial arts, obviously weaponry. Um, Again, like shadow manipulations and things like that, where he walks, he moves through the shadows. That theatricality, that deception thing, and what makes him lethal in ways where he can be that character where he's not he's scary. And with that being said, it's just it's 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 crazy, and I feel like that what makes him unforgettable is the fact that he is someone that will go at you if you screw him or his family wrong and you cause him pain in his city. You will not see that man coming. That is for sure. And when you do, it'll be the last thing you see. Period. Now we're going to also move on to Sean Brooks, which is the brother of Michael Brooks. And I can say about Sean that he was an individual, young. Sean actually tried to protect when the death of their mother happened. Uh, he was one of them that ended up getting hurt in the process, being there, but could not protect his mother the way that he wished and hoped that he could have, and he did it. But he tried to block her from the attack from the gang from HK. So that caused an issue with him. As men, again, as men, the number one thing you want to do is protect your family. If you have it's just in us to want to be protective. I don't see it no other way around it. And when you feel you can't do anything to protect your loved ones, it can bother you so much that you know it's really like that. It'll bother you so much when you feel like, man, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that, and you feel like you had a chance to do so. Sometimes it's out of your hands. And with Sean, he tried to protect his mother. It obviously didn't work that way. So yes, it's bothering him, it's hurting him, you know, and it's an issue, you know. So before we go any further, you guys, for those who are watching anything, please hit the like button and anything for the algorithm. So yeah, we can keep building this page, keep building everything that is Phenom. I would appreciate that very much if you give this live a like. And again, you know, Sean is an individual who is haunted by the incident of his mother as well. Um, but also he's also a forgiving individual. He's a forgiving individual to a degree. Um, I'm not sure if you knew as for the last video that I discussed before was Sean actually dealing with the deaths of his mother, but also due to the fact that it was done due to the due to the actions of one family member that pretty much caused the chain reaction of what is, and Sean basically when this individual tried to come back into Sean and the family's life, obviously Sean was the one to confront first, due to the fact that Michael at the time was unaware. But Sean had to deal with these issues by himself being haunted because he was in the brunt of the attack, like getting hit himself, getting hurt. But again, dealing with the individual that pretty much was the cause of the death of his mother, and he ended up still tried to protect this same individual who honestly wanted to redeem themselves by facing not only their bad decisions, but also going after and facing the the gang and the men that was involved in the order of the hit that occurred due to his mother that occurred with his mother getting killed in the process. So one thing about Sean is having a heart and being forgiving and trying to still protect those who did wrong. And it's redemption, more than anything, and trying to have that belief that someone, regardless of how hard things have been and how hard things could be, you still do your part in trying to protect those who actually you still care for, even if they done wrong. You try to see the good in people. You know, you still try to see the good in people, especially those who are trying to do better and they regret the decisions that they've made. And, you know, just it's just the idea of losing someone. And again, knowing that everyone makes mistakes. And if you are a genuine person that really, really and truly is doing what they can to redeem themselves and be seen in a different space and different, in different ways, so you won't be haunted by regret or, any decisions that you've made. You want to redo, if you have a chance to redo anything that you've done. So, about Sean, he's actually one of them characters that will be something good. On top of the fact that, that he goes through his own transformation as well. He goes through his own transformation outside of his mom, still dealing with that, and that's what the motivation is more than anything. And due to the growth of the vigilante in the city, Sean takes heed. He takes heed to that. He actually starts to see what was going on and who he was dealing with. And now he's like, maybe I may do this, I may do that. You never know. So, and we also want to get into Maria Brooks, which is the wife, and I will also say partner of Michael Brooks. Uh, she, like Maria served in the Black Flag Special Forces alongside Michael. She did not train in Madal Sadida. She did not train in a Black Claw. So but she's still highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat. She's a strategist, she's a hacker, she's a tech specialist, which made her and gave her spot in the Black Flag Special Forces was because of her intellect and tech and being an expert marksman. You know, she's legit. Maria's legit. Now, don't let the frame fool you. Again, if you have not seen the backstory of and the actual picture of Maria Brooks, obviously she's curved out or whatever. Some people feel like, oh, she's not your typical hero to be like, okay, she's too rounded or well, like she's too curvy or something like that, too thick or anything like that to be a hero of a caliber. Like she seems like she's too, you know, that much of a woman. But the thing is, though, you gotta this is a game changer, man. It is, and I personally don't care. At the end of the day, you can be what you want to be if you put your mind to it and you put in the effort to do it. As simple as that. Maria is one of them characters that is very resilient. She again, she always has Michael back, regardless. You know, she does not know at the beginning. She does not know that Michael is Night Reaper. You know, she does not know that at all. And so, with that being said, obviously, it's a very mysterious thing for her within Night Reaper Origins, trying to figure out and understand what's going on with Michael, especially after everything that has happened to them as a family. And for her, she wants to see what's going on with her husband, and and understand what's going on, what's happening. It's just but Maria Brooks is also one of them real complex characters that shows resilience, that shows grit. You know what I mean? That shows toughness, but she's also still feminine as for in her ways of still being a wife, a lover, a partner to Michael, and understanding her husband, you know, which in turn will actually help them or it could hurt them. And later on in the book, but we don't know that until we get to that point. Am I right? So Maria is definitely one of them characters that will also be loved due to how she stands by her family as well as how she stands up for herself, how she's mentally strong, and how she deals with the tragedy and how she copes with Michael dealing with what he's dealing with, and how she's there for him, how she's helping him out. So she's definitely one of them characters that is very unforgettable as well. And again, it obviously isn't her last stop at all. Maria has a future in Phenom as well amongst Night Reaper, and that's a surprise for you guys for later on when Night Reaper starts to get further in and you start to understand more about these characters like Michael Brooks, Sean, Maria, you know, Detective Gamble, any of them characters like that that sets them apart or whatever. And that's what is a different thing. But it's a family. That's what matters more than anything within the Brooks family, which is called the Brooks family tragedy, is because of those different things that has happened within the book that will happen. That you guys can see, and since for what I've spoken to y'all, you understand as well. Um, but yeah, and those the heroes. That's why I feel like that's very, you know, unforgettable. And we got the villains. Now, I just started the villain tier. I'm starting to post the backstories and introducing the characters that are the villains of Phenom and all the villains of Night Reaper Origins, so you guys can have a better understanding as for who's the antagonists in Night Reaper, who's going up against Night Reaper, who's going to be the enemy that he faces that's going to be blocking his way of trying to figure out who's hurting this city, who's doing this, who's doing that, and that's exactly what's going on. So I want to first introduce you guys to speak on an individual called Akima Sandeep. She is an assassin. She is, she's almost like an evil Black Widow. I'm gonna just tell you all exactly how that is. With her, she's called the Serpent of Cain, but that's what the world that knows her as the assassin. That's the name they had gave her. The Serpent of Cain. Like literally, she is legit. Again, she's smart. Flirtatious. But she's lethal. She's lethal. She's dark. And she had a first encounter with Night Reaper, and obviously and they obviously with her first encounter with Night Reaper, she was basically turned on by this character. Like, who is this man that can keep up with me? Who is this individual that seems as lethal as me, you know, that is giving me a run for my money, basically. And she has not had anyone that can keep up with her skill set, you know, whereas she is one of the most deadliest individuals in Phenom, period. She is one of the most deadliest, I mean, like literally, from hand-to-hand combat, weapon specialist. Again, she's an assassin. And again, who in the heck has a nickname that's called the Serpent of Cain? Now, y'all probably, for those who's probably wondering, and whoever didn't join, I welcome you. Um, what does that mean, being the serpent of Cain? Well, that's for you guys to find out. You know what I mean? That's the important thing about it. It's that's the mystery of storytelling. That's the mystery of actually, talking about these characters. And once you do get a chance to get your hands on a book or anything like that, and you read these things, you like, man, you got this mystery about these characters, the cliffhangers and books that make you want more because you got a good compelling story, and these characters make them even better because they're greatly written. And that's the best thing about it, is just being that individual that's like, man, I enjoy this. I like who these characters is, especially Akima Sandeep. You will definitely enjoy her. Again, a flirtatious Black Widow, but just an, a bad guy. You know what I mean? And what made me talk about Akima Sandeep, which I will give a backstory on later on this week coming up, after obviously going into next week, I'll be dropping some more villain tier videos, backstories on these characters, introducing the antagonist to the protagonist, which is who is Night Reaper. Um, so understand that Akima Sandeep is a very intense character as well, and just a little crazy. You know what I mean? She's a little crazy. She's a little nutty. So again, but and she's more definitely one of them characters that you guys will enjoy. But I'm gonna give more of a breakdown on that when I talk about her backstory and I introduce to y'all exactly her concept art, her sketches, ask for who she is, what she looks like. So definitely be ready for that because I really do want to introduce you guys to this. And then we have Silverback. Silverback is another one of the antagonists in Night Reaper Origins. And he's also one of the characters. He's also the one who actually called the hit out on the Brooks family home that caused the death of Michael and Sean's mother. So I'm just letting you guys know that now. Silverback is that individual um, that is he runs. He's part of that underground scene that helps run things. He's an enforcer as well as Sakima Sandeep. Now, understand when I say that both Silverback and Akima are both enforcers, meaning what? It's somebody above them. So at the end of the day, understand Silverback is another one that is a brutal character. He's a brute. He's a big, strong guy. You know, he's very strong and was strong at a young age. And again, I'm gonna get into that as well in his backstory, but I'm gonna let y'all know now that Silverback is another one of them characters that is very intense. He's brutal, bloodthirsty. He's one of them characters that if you steer him wrong, he's the type that can crush you with his bare hands without really even trying because he's that powerful. He's that powerful. And that's why he got the name Silverback, simply because it's the likeness of the dominant and fierce gorilla. That's his nickname, and that's what they call him in the streets of the city of Cleveland. Silverback, due to his size, to his sheer power, his aggressiveness. And again, it's just, he's one of them guys that you do not want to mess with as well. And if you're going head to head with an individual like Silverback, you best be ready. You best be ready to have some broken bones and some bruises. So you be lucky to walk away if you're dealing with a character like Silverback, which will be another backstory that I'll be dropping to you guys very soon as well. So, you know, you can have a better understanding as for who this character is, what's his background, how did he come to be, how was he, came to become Silverback. You know what I mean? Just hey, it's a lot with these characters that's a beauty. But again, we're going off of the fact that Akima, Sandeep, and Silverback both again are enforcers in a deeper book, in a deeper telling, in a deeper telling. They just running certain things, you know. But again, it's a lot to that, man. And that's the surprise. That's the surprise, man. And I want to actually get into that with you guys more often going into this week when I drop these videos. So definitely like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any videos. So again, if you're excited about what I've said so far, or you're just intrigued to know more, about these characters and about, especially if you're a villain person, hey, if you're a villain person, then definitely you will want to stay tuned and hit the notification bell to be ready for these characters that I drop so you guys can know exactly who I'm talking about and what this is about. You know what I mean? I dropped a couple videos, obviously, just recently. You have, again, Sean Brooks, and you also have Mazar, you know, whereas Mazar is the beginning of the villain tier, is the beginning of the villain tier. Mazar is basically, again, what inspired me for Mazar is, again, Turk Barrett. If you've watched the Daredevil series, he's like your Turk Barrett, but honestly, I feel like he's smoother. You know what I mean? He's just more, he's more mouthy. You know what I mean? But Mazar is actually one of them characters that I think you guys will love as well. So the next thing that I do want to touch on is, what makes a hero? You know what I mean? What makes a hero? And I feel like the key traits that does make heroes are courage, morality, relatability, and personal sacrifice. You know what I mean? So let me say that again. What makes a hero is courage, morality, relatability, and personal sacrifice. And if you are aware, if you are a comic book fan, if you love superheroes, you know, at the end of the day, as a hero, man, there's no real leeway in your life. You know what I mean? You really don't have no peace at all. That's your thing. That's your job. Uh, that's the personal sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Not having the life to, actually you're not able to live your life the way you probably want to because you in your mind and your heart and soul, you have a mission. So you're sacrificing a lot of, you're sacrificing a lot of, your like relationships and things that make you feel human or make you belong. But in your mind, once you get caught up in being a hero and things like that, this is who you truly are. So you sacrificing your time, your relationships, everything in your life with people that you care about and things like that. That's a lot. And then you have to touch on the courage. You got to have the courage to deal with these, situations. You going out here in the streets, even if you got powers, I don't care. My thing is, you can have all the powers in the dang on world, but when you're going up against individuals that could be better, that could be stronger, could be faster, could be smarter, you yourself, once you lace up them boots and you decide you want to be a hero and use your powers, use your skill set for good or whatever the case may be, the one thing that's going to happen is going to always come to mind is having the courage to face the possible dangers and that you may die or anything like that, and having the courage to just step out there because no one else did. And that's what made it, special about Night Reaper, about Michael, because he had the courage. He had to have those personal sacrifices in order for him to make sure that families, his loved ones are safe to be able to walk the streets and live their lives happy without having to look over their shoulder or not or being afraid to step out on their porch or outside without feeling like they're about to be attacked or anything like that. You know, the morality behind everything is, you know, um, is basically, having standards, having your integrity in place, understanding, but still also having a heart, you know, and you know, just understanding more than anything. You know what I mean? And that's where relatability comes into play. Because some people, again, from what I mentioned with Night Reaper, with Michael in the first place, some people, you live in certain neighborhoods or you grow up a certain way, you know, one thing that's relatable about these characters is growth. Um, and understanding, because you may have actually felt these needs and urges and or these pains, you know what I'm saying, the death of a family member, especially if it happened due to someone else's accord, you know what I'm saying, that has caused that, you know, and you feeling helpless. You feeling like you want to do something about it, to change the narrative, to change the situation. And it's like it's not happening. It's nothing you can do about it. And you want so bad to do something about it. And it's like it hurts to be an individual that basically is feel forced to stand by and see those you love and care for suffer or deal with certain pains, or the fear, and or just being in that. And again, want to probably be an individual yourself to be like, man, I'm tired of this. I want to do something about it. And that's what it really boils down to with these characters, where I feel like the relatability to these characters, you can either take the traumas in your life and turn it into a positive, or you take the traumas in your life and you turn it into a negative. The point is, you can either turn it into power, or you can turn it into weakness. And it completely throws you off your game. It makes you either a good person or it makes you a bad person. You know what I mean? But the point is, being relatable to certain characters is allowing you to understand what they went through and how they get through it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's very important, in relatability when it comes down to certain characters. So you definitely want to be sure, if you are an individual in creation or anything like that, you want to be sure that people understand. They can say, man, I went through that. I understand this character. And that's what makes these characters likable, relatable, understanding, and what make people gravitate towards these specific characters. You know what I mean? And one thing about Night Reaper is, his tragic past of wavering dedication to justice. That's where all that comes into play. Maria, how her resilience and skills make her an essential part of the book and possibly the team. But that is her and her husband, and how she helps him get through everything that he has gone through, where he's going through mentally, as well as her, as well as her. Obviously, what happened to her was tragedy. It's crazy. Like it's tragedy as for what happened to her, you know? And to having a loss like the way the loss that she had, that Maria had, any woman, mother will go through those things and feel, man, like what the hell, you know what I mean? And you got Sean. Sean is another one. As for what makes a hero, his courage and ability to look past anger and still try to do the right thing, you know. And that's what make these characters, and why I wrote these characters the way that I did, you know, is it's trying to do is seeing past certain things, man, and just trying to have some type of humility. You know what I mean? And that's another thing about these characters that I love so much. When I wrote this, and I added these characters, and I made these characters into who they are, I wanted to make sure that they weren't just in here just to kick ass and do things that just that was just over the top. You know what I mean? I believe in character building. You know what I mean? I'm a big anime fan, and one thing about me is like my favorite anime of all time was. Now I may get bashed for this, but if you are an anime watcher or anything like that, my favorite anime of all time used to be Dragon Ball Z. But as time has changed and I've watched other ones, I can honestly say, if I had to put an anime over Dragon Ball Z, it would be Naruto. I'm just saying. Reason for it is because, you know, I like Naruto so much because of the development of not just his character, but all the other characters that was surrounded around, the Naruto series in general, just period. But one thing that stood out for me when it came down to Naruto was He was abused, man. Let's be honest. Verbally, physically, like just spiritually, just abused, looked down on. He was the underdog. But out of all that tragedy, all that hardship, all that or those trials and tribulations that that boy went through, he became a man. He overcame and he proved everybody wrong that he wasn't this, he wasn't that, and he ended up showing that he was better. He showed he didn't let his anger and his emotions stop him from being a good person and doing the right thing and getting stronger, overcoming all the obstacles that's being thrown in his way. And he basically just shoved all the doubters away. Like, yeah, he let his actions speak louder than his words. And that is the biggest thing that I actually loved about Naruto is the fact that he was the underdog and he was doubted, mistreated, and still came out on top and proved everybody wrong at the end, gained everyone's respect. And that's one thing I loved about that series more than anything, and why I feel personally why Naruto is the best anime for me all time. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So now for those if you feel like actually interacting a little bit, dropping some comments inside the chat, man. What traits do you like for and what traits do you look for in a hero? You know what I mean? What traits do you look for in a hero? And if you guys know exactly what you like in a hero, let me know. Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments and everything, and we can chop it. We can talk. I'll answer your questions and everything. And I honestly want to know what you guys think. You know what I mean? How you feel? And don't be shy. Don't be shy. You know what I mean? Just interact. You know, let me know. What do you look for? What you look for in a hero? What traits? You know? Mhm. Yeah. But yeah. Okay, G. Ambition, a code. That's very important. It's your ambition and you having a code. You know what I mean? Your ambition obviously is one of those things that's like basically your ambition is, what do you want to get done? What is your mission and your goal to do what you do? If the traits for a hero is what that is how strong and how dedicated they are to their craft, and how dedicated they are to the mission and completing it just to, that's the big thing. And obviously when you got a code, your code always comes into place as for, you know, how far you're willing to go. What do you do? You know what I mean? uh Batman, for a prime example, he had one rule basically was his code was to not kill. You know what I mean? He'll beat the dog shit out of you. He'll like Batman to beat the brakes off of you. You know what I mean? Torment you, do all kinds of things. Not to that degree as for like, somebody like the Punisher or something like that. But to get information and things like that, he'll never go too far. You know what I mean? He'll never that's one thing about Batman that he never went too far. That was his code was to not kill. That was his one rule, not to kill. You know what I'm saying? And I like that about Batman. You know what I mean? So, um, but yeah, that's a good question. So that's I mean a good answer. I'm sorry, but yeah, a good answer. Like ambition and the code. That's what makes characters. That's what makes characters good. Is say what they stand for. You know what I mean? Like how far they're willing to go, how ambitious they are to get the job done, and what's their code to get the job done. Like how far they're willing to go. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and honestly, that's a very big thing in understanding on that end is, you know, it's just simple as that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that, G, definitely. Because ambition in the code is definitely one of them things, man. All right. So I also want to get into place as for what makes a villain. That's another one that I wanted to talk about. Like what makes a villain. Um, Key traits for a villain is complexity, clear motivations, and a sense of danger. Hmm. Yeah, a sense of danger. Uh, what are a villain's motivations? You know what I mean? I would say, excuse me, it's similar to honestly a hero. You know what I mean? I like to think, they're similar to heroes, but in a different way. Again, where I just mentioned earlier about traumas. Well, I mentioned about traumas. As for and what G also mentioned about actually having a code and ambition. That's the same thing into the villains. You know what I mean? Their motivations it can be definitely clear at the end of the day. Kill every damn body. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Forget it. I went through this. I went through this pain. I went through this and everything. I'm about to take all that out on everyone else. That is what a villain is. You know what I'm saying? Their clear motivations. Again, reasons why I like the Joker so much. You know, Joker, he didn't have no code. You know what I mean? He didn't have no code. He didn't have a damn code. He didn't have any, you know, you know, his ambition was just again, it was kill everybody. I'm about to, it's make people as crazy as I am, make them suffer. Let's see how far they can handle things mentally. You know what I mean? I'm going to take it to a point where can you break? And I want to see how crazy you can become. Which is reasons why he always went after Batman as much as he did, because again, Batman with the code, he had that one rule: never kill. Joker did so much of the most craziest, damnedest, monstrous, demonic things ever that he literally always did it simply because he wanted Batman to break his code, break that one rule. I'm gonna do all this to you just for you to kill me and want to kill me. I want to see the bad side of you. I want to see who you really and truly are, who you're trying to mask not to be. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what that is, man. But yeah, we're gonna. I mean, hey, it's crazy, but the complexity, clear motivations, and the sense of dangers for certain characters like Akima Sandeep, her deadly skill set and her rivalry with Silverback keeps her a thrilling and very unpredictable. Then you got Silverback. Discuss, I mean, my thing is again his raw power. We discussed that as for his raw power, his brutality. You know what I'm saying? His influence over, Cleveland's underground. You know what I mean? Uh, and that's another thing where where about Silverback is that he's again, what I'm saying, like the brutality that he brings, like raw brutality and everything. So he's definitely going to be a challenge for Night Reaper. As big and strong as Night Reaper is, how lethal he is, he's still human. You know what I mean? So when he comes face to face with Silverback for the first time, it's like it's almost going to be like Batman facing Bane for the first time. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest about that situation. And then we also got the unknown head boss that runs everything else. His intelligence and his ruthless ambition makes him very terrifying. Yeah, his intelligence and his ruthless ambition definitely makes him terrifying. I'm not going to reveal the final boss, but we gonna go there. Well, yeah, but I'm not. We ain't gonna go there yet. We ain't gonna go there. I want this to be something. I want this to be something real good, something special. I feel like you guys definitely like that character. You know what I mean? He's one of the characters even Silverback can't really mess with. Like as much of a beast Silverback is, how lethal Akima is, you ain't touching on this guy. You ain't touching on this guy. I promise you that. And I want to introduce. I'm gonna introduce that character to. Well, I may introduce that character to you guys. But again, what's more exciting than the unknown? What's more exciting than the unknown? The mystery, the cliffhanger. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes it good. You know what I mean? So my question to y'all, the audience right now, do you prefer villains who are pure evil or those with the understanding motivation? You know what I mean? Again, do you prefer villains that are pure evil or with the understandable motivations? With those understandable motivations, you know, what do you understand out of that? You know what I mean? As for the, being pure evil and those who just, again, that's just like, look, I'm doing this because I have to do this. I can give you a prime example. Well, I've given you the prime example as for like pure evil, and then you got understandable motivations. Uh, Obviously Joker, he's one. Again, Joker to me, obviously, he's just pure freaking evil. You know what I mean? Just pure freaking evil. There's no doubt about that. And then you got your characters that are deemed villains. Okay. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah, G. I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, some both is very understanding. You know what I mean? And yes, pure evil is more is more enjoyable and entertaining. Uh, Simply because at the end of the day, these characters were reasons why, like I said, I like the Joker so much. Um, because he just, again, that line will always resonate with me. Where what I liked about with certain characters making villains is some men can't be bought or paid for or reasoned with. Some men just want to watch the world burn. They have no other ulterior motive at all. They just want to watch the world burn. Simple as that. That's Joker. And then you got understandable characters that's basically like Kane Marco. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but the Sandman from Spider Man. He was deemed a villain simply because he did the things to steal money and rob people and things like that because he was trying to cure his daughter because his daughter was sick. His daughter was dying. You know what I mean? So obviously you broke. You have no other way to pay for operations or do anything to make sure that your baby is good. As a father myself, and you know, you'll do if sometimes you can't help, but you're gonna do what you have to do to make sure that your family is safe, is okay, especially your babies. Come on now. That's just simple as that. You're gonna do what you can for your babies. You're gonna sacrifice for your babies. So if you're like, so for him again, he was just you got the understandable motivations, which is the Sandman was simply again because his daughter was dying and he didn't have no money, so he robbed people, robbed banks, whatever the hell you want to call it, to get the money to be able to pay for her operations or whatever it need be. But with Joker, that was just a dude that was just like, huh, I just want to kill him. I just want to kill him. I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's exactly how that be, man. I just want to kill him. So, but no, but that's I appreciate that, G, for interacting and letting me know on that. So we're gonna compare heroes and villains, okay? Uh, Dynamic relationships is a big thing when it comes down to characters. you know, and my thing is I wanted to explore how, heroes and villains push each other to grow. You know what I mean? And my thing is, you know, like it's Night Reaper going against the unknown boss. I just say that, you know what I mean? But I say going against the other characters like Akima, like Silverback, those characters, and how they're different in values, what I'm saying, values collide. You know what I mean? And the thing is, both have like everybody has something to prove, you know what I'm saying? And then there is a need for vengeance in that way as well. You know what I mean? So I think comparing the heroes and villains and everything, it's basically saying the same thing as for what are the motivations. You know what I'm saying? What's for what makes a hero, what makes a villain. You know what I mean? Um, and the actual, the understanding element of these characters were, as for their motivations, Night Reaper's motivation is clear. You know, I want to make the world, my city, my family feels safe to walk the streets, to deal with, you know, not having, you know what I'm saying, not having to deal with fear, looking over your shoulder, not being able to interact with family on the sidewalk without somebody running up on you, trying to take you out, trying to rob you, anything like that. It's that fear. That's what keeps neighborhoods from being neighborhoods because of fear. What me growing up, and I'm a 90s baby. I'm a 90s baby, you know what I mean? So, you know, me growing up again, watching people, me as kids, we were outside. You know what I mean? We were outside. We were individuals who, you know, rode bikes and little our own little gangs and stuff like that, riding around the neighborhoods on bikes while other kids played outside, families and people barbecuing and things like that or whatever. You want and honestly, it's been times, man. Even myself, I ride around the neighborhoods that I grew up in. It's not as active as it once was. It's not lively as it once was. You know what I mean? People are, kids aren't kids anymore. You know what I mean? Some people fear their children being outside and things like that or whatever, because they fear being outside because of the what if. You know what I mean? The mystery, the unknown of what may or may not happen. But in your mind, you don't know that. So you don't want to take the chance to put you or your family in situations where they're unsafe or you have to worry. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's understandable, and that's just how I look at it. But it's definitely something to prove, with these characters, and that's just what it is. And the gray area of the situation is, what I'm saying, uh, we got the ambiguous characters like Detective Gamble and um, and how they justify their actions and remain on the right side of the law. You know what I mean? Detective Gamble, obviously, if you've seen his backstory, he's actually the first video that I've posted where I introduced the detective Marcus Gamble. You know what I mean? He came from a tragic past. Again, he was a Detroit cop who ended up getting involved in a serious case that involved a serial killer, a psychopath. You know what I mean? That he ended up getting involved in, and when he got too deep into the case, you know that character, that psycho, the criminal, the villain, end up killing his family. When he got into the case, once he got into the case, His family got involved and got taken out, which caused the grief of Detective Gamble. Now he's an older gentleman. The thing is, you know, how do you stay on the right side of the law without letting that anger still carry having pride in that badge, still carrying yourself, you know, the right way and not overdoing things that going overboard when you're handling criminals, you're handling villains, or you're handling, you know, these people that are crazy. How do you keep your mental in check? You know what I mean? So you won't go over the rails and end up doing something that you're going to regret. That's the last thing you want, is to deal with a situation like that. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like that's a big deal when it comes down to Detective Gamble, and just trying to stay strong and mentally strong to be on the right side of the law and still believing in the system and trying to do the right thing behind the badge. That's what makes characters like Detective Gamble important. You know what I mean? But but I want to sit up here and I also want to ask you guys another question: is do you think Night Reaper and the Unknown Boss are two sides of the same coin? And I say that because the Unknown Boss is an individual that is calculated. He's strong. He wants power. He wants to take over the city. You may feel like you want to keep him being in charge and running things will help keep the city and everybody in check if he is the one that's making the decision. Because anybody else, he probably feel like I'll make it worse. Anybody can make it worse or anything like that. So I do what I do to keep my power and keep what I got simply because I want to feel in charge and taking over the city where Night Reaper is like, I want to protect this city and I want to do things differently. You know what I mean? So it's more to, these characters. It is. It's more to these characters, man. And again, you know, and another thing that I want to also talk to you guys about, man, and I want to be honest on that. I want to talk to y'all about once I do hit at least 500 subscribers on YouTube or my IG. You know, I'm actually planning on opening a Kickstarter. Um, obviously, really, I want to keep releasing concepts and teasers for you guys. I also, I'm officially definitely open up a website, and for physical, digital copies. That's my plan. That's my goal for Night Reaper, and that's what I want to do. But I do plan on once I actually do. That's why I'm praying to keep this going, to get the subscribers up, YouTube, Instagram, at least five, to get over 500 and more subscribers and everything. I would appreciate that if you guys actually like, share, and subscribe this channel. And again, I'll eventually end up getting the Kickstarter and everything started once this actually happens. Once I keep introducing these characters, I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm gonna keep on trying to entertain you guys and introducing you guys to these characters, understanding these characters, and we're going to, reveal a lot of things. Once the backstories are done, and I actually start and I reveal these characters, we're going to get into more. Best believe it. But I want to build these characters up. I want to build this, the channel up, and and again, I want you guys to look forward to it. So if anybody got any, questions they would like to ask pertaining to anything that I've discussed here in this live, please feel free to do so. Do not hesitate whatsoever to ask any questions, you know, and I'll do my best to answer them. So if you have any questions, please go ahead, drop your dimes. Let me know what y'all talking about. All right. right. Yeah. Let me know what y'all think from everything that we discussed. If y'all have anything, let me know. Uh, the kind of art that I'm looking for, my style. Honestly, I want it to be more of a, I mean, more of like obviously more of an illustration, but excuse me, I do want to be like my art to be kind of realistic looking, a little old school. You know what I'm saying? A little old school. You know what I'm saying? But more modern day type art. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing too cartoony. Nothing like that. I want these characters to pop out. You know, like a modern day comic book. You know what I mean? A modern day comic book. You know, the modern the style of it, the sleek style, the bold style of comic, of a drawn out character, and you know, that's something that makes the book pop, that will make the art pop, that will, because that's one thing I know about, writing or anything like that, that also have gotten my attention as well, is the style of the comics and everything, or books or movies, shows, anything like that. Is the styles that they are drawn. Me, I want like a boldness, like, you know again, how like you have your Flash comic books, or your Superman or your Batman comic books, more modern day, but more again comic book style art, comic book style art, you know, more modern day comic book style art. Again, the bold, the slick, the intense, realistic type of style of comic, of art that I actually want. So um, I appreciate that question, G. Asking that question. But yeah, yeah, that's the type of style that I want for these comics. Do anyone have any other questions they would like to ask? We are over an hour now on this live, and I actually want to, if anybody got any other questions, man, we can definitely go ahead on do that. We can talk about some things, you know, and again, we'll, you know, any other questions? If not, then we'll go ahead on and try to, stop the live right here. Obviously, for anybody who want to watch it later, it'll obviously this will be saved, so obviously, so. But yeah, if anybody, you got anything to say, to discuss, speak on, or anything like that, let me know. You know, all right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, all right. So if there's no other questions, you guys, I appreciate those who were here to watch, discuss, and being intrigued by the comics. I appreciate that very much, very very much, and I hope you all have yourselves a good one. And I will see y'all in the next video next week, hopefully, and we'll discuss more. I got y'all, and again, be on the lookout for the other characters. Watch the other backstories, and be on the lookout for the other, whatever. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot that's going to happen. There's a lot going on. Like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell so that way you won't miss anything that updates about Phenom Comics. I hope you guys have yourselves a good one and enjoy the rest of y'all year. I pray that y'all do. All right. Have yourselves a good one. Peace. Yes, sir.